Welcome to 8 to Go. I'm Timothy Hammond alongside Jonathan Woodward.
We've got a good show for you tonight. We went short track racing. Before we get into stage one, it's hot lap time. I took a lap around Martinsville in the number 9. Let's take a look.
Alright guys, welcome to the paperclip. Of course, this is a track where we're going to use a lot of heavy braking. Finding a rhythm is key, and also hanging onto that low line as much as possible. Keep that track position throughout the entire race. Again, I stay to the low line here. It's the best way to get around. It's the quickest way to get around the track.
Stage 1. I don't know what's going to be my favorite stage, this one or the second one. But this one, we're talking about Martinsville, we're talking about championship contenders, we're talking about short track racing.
Short track racing at its finest. The guys raced at the paperclip today, and we got a great finish. And you know, it's a lot of mixed reviews coming through.
I know.
The bump and run was used. Joey Logano took the win by using the bump and run in turn 3 on the final lap to move Truex. They both got a little bit of a tangle coming out of 4, and Denny Hamlin, your
he
pick,
was there.
Almost got it.
He was there. You know, it's funny. The race was, personally, I thought it was great all the way through because the chase drivers were fighting with Brad Keselowski and Denny Hamlin the whole time. And there, you know, Hamlin and Logano got into each other quite a few times at the race in stage 1. And Denny was cutting nobody slack. And neither was Keselowski. Keselowski was even racing Logano really hard. And that is what I love seeing. They're teammates, but they both are so competitive that they didn't want the other person to take the lead.
It's kind of like a home track for Hamlin in a way.
Right.
He really wanted to get the win. You know, he's bummed out that he's not going to win the championship this year. But you know, the teams can't give up. They still have to go out there and compete to win. It looks good for their sponsors. It looks good for the fans. The fans want to see their driver, you know, continue to win, even if they're not eligible for the championship.
And you know what? We're coming down to the final 3 races.
Yep.
And Hamlin nor Johnson have won a race this year.
I know.
And that is very awkward to see because Johnson has won a race every season that he has been in.
We saw Jimmy Johnson get in a little bit of trouble earlier in the race, and he kind of hung around 15th, 16th for the rest of the day. I mean, he had a bad qualifying effort. Actually, most of the Hendrick Motorsports cars qualified towards the middle to rear of the field, and track position was key.
Everything.
You have to be towards the front, or you're going to have a long day trying to battle to get
Just ask Martin Truex Jr. He had a great car. Okay, he had a good car. He didn't have a great car. Because he led a little bit, you know, and his car was okay. But he was there at the end when it counted. That's all that mattered.
Yep.
And, oh my gosh, that last restart. That last restart with, I think it was like 20-some-odd laps to go. Just, you knew it was going to happen. You knew it was going to be a good finish. Because you had Almirola up there. You had, you know, and Almirola has been okay at short tracks. He was up there. And I thought I was going to get a fight out of Clint and Johnson.
Yeah, what happened there?
So what happened was they were going 3 wide into turn 3. And Suarez apparently didn't know there was 2 cars above him. He apparently knew Johnson was there. And Johnson was right at the quarter panel of both. And Suarez just pushed him straight up into Clint. But Clint on the radio wasn't very happy and didn't think that Suarez did it. He went straight for Johnson.
Well, they've had history, Johnson.
Yes, they have.
So I would imagine Clinton was a bit fired up. Man, he wants to win the championship so bad.
He really does. You know, and with all 4 of their cars in the final 8 spots, they have a 50% chance of winning.
So Joey Logano locked in a spot for the final 4 at Homestead.
So, with that being said, I want to ask how you felt about the race ending, and then I'll tell everybody how I felt.
It's racing, man. You know, it's 2 guys racing for a championship. Winner advances, has their ticket punched to Miami. Truex wanted to lock in. Joey wanted to lock in. Truex, hats off to him for the clean racing. I couldn't believe how close they were racing, but not making contact, not looking like they were about to wreck each other. But that last lap, it's almost like you don't want to be the leader going into turn 3 on that last lap if somebody's like right in your mirror like Joey was.
At that track, actually almost any track, you don't want to be that person in the last corner in the lead. I would have done the same thing. You know, Joey he's always been there, but his cars just haven't been there.
Dude, he's got a shot at the championship.
He does.
He wants it.
He's going to Miami.
He's going to Miami. He wants the championship.
There's 4 of the drivers not going.
But Truex.
Joey's in.
But Truex.
And Larry McReynolds.
Dude.
He called it. Larry McReynolds called
Larry
it.
Mack did. Larry Mack called it, but after the race, what did you think about Truex's comment?
He may have won the battle, but he ain't win the damn war.
That's it?
That's it.
So he's not going to get there. He's not going to win the championship.
He ain't.
How do you retaliate?
I'm just not going to let him win it. I'm going to win it.
You're going to make it the championship for?
That's the plan right now.
And anything you want to say to all these fans out here that have come out and seen the show?
Appreciate them being here. They're awesome, man. This place is great. We should be in victory lane right now. But, you know, it's just the way it went today. It didn't work out. But proud of my guys, proud of our team. And, you know, everybody said we're out. Said we couldn't run good at Martinsville. We don't run good at short tracks. Our team's shutting down, so we can't make it to the championship 4. Yeah, bring it on. I'm going to show everybody.
Talking to Martin after the race, he said that you may have won the battle, but you're not going to win the war, Joey. How would you respond?
Okay. It's, as expected. We raced hard there, and he raced really clean, and I laid the bumper to him, so I don't expect him to be happy. But we got to do what we got to do, and he's going to do what he's got to do, and we'll hash it out, I'm sure, one way or another. But this was our shot. This is maybe our only shot, so we had to make it happen.
I agree with his comments as well. I would be upset. In those instances, passion takes over. You got a team that you're on that is competitive and closing down at the end of the year, and you want to go out on top. You want to go out on top. And I said it earlier, Joey punched his ticket, but he also punched his fate. And that's unfortunate. Because I think if Truex doesn't get into the Final 4, Joey's going to have another situation he had at Martinsville with Kenseth.
Well, with that, we're on to Texas. All right, guys, stage 2. We actually have some news and rumors for you this week. Tim, what do you got on the 48?
So the 48, actually, just before Martinsville, introduced their new sponsor for the next 2 seasons. Ally is going to be the sponsor, Ally Financial. They're apparently a top 20 financial advisor in the U.S. And they're really excited. You know, the CEO seemed, pumped. And that also, to me, indicates I'm a speculator. It's a 2-year contract with Jimmy Johnson and the 48 team. That could be Johnson's final sponsor. Who knows?
Well, I think it's a new sponsor in the sport. We've never heard of Ally Financial before. They've been around. Me being from the Charlotte area for the several years, I've known their headquarters are there, which is close to where the shops are, so they kind of have that little relationship going. But new sponsor. I think they just want to test it out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily put the mark that Jimmy Johnson's got 2 years left. I just think that, sponsors coming in now, they don't want to do these long-term deals anymore they used to do.
DuPont and Budweiser, they're all, they got to test to make sure it's worth the money. And I know you've got some news on possibly the 19 and the 78 rumors.
Yeah, as we know, Furniture Row Racing's closing, so Martin Truex is a big free agent on the market for next year. I'm overhearing that there is going to be an announcement of some sort coming this week for Martin Truex as well as Daniel Suarez. Now, the speculation right now is that the 19 car will be Truex, but now I'm hearing that might not be the case. So there's a lot of question marks right now coming into this week. It's either this week or next week we'll be hearing who's going where.
Do you
Suarez
think
or Truex.
because I feel like over the past couple of months, Suarez has stepped up his game. Like today he was competitive.
He wouldn't have initially gotten the 19 seat had he not proven that in the Xfinity Series by winning the championship.
That's right.
But we're moving in. We're moving into that time of the year where we really start seeing where people are going.
And we fill out the next season.
Yep. This past week marked 14 years since the Hendrick Motorsports plane crash in the mountains of Southern Virginia, claiming all lives on board.
We've prepared a special clip for all of you to watch. The date is October 24th, 2004.
The plane was on its way to Martinsville to meet up with the rest of the team.
Ironically, Jimmy Johnson had just won the race, but right after the checkered flag, NASCAR called all of Hendrick Motorsports to the holler.
I thought they were being brought in for a penalty at first, but then Jim Hunter came on.
Yes, we've been made aware. The FAA reported they lost contact with a Hendrick Motorsports airplane inbound for Martinsville earlier today, Bill. We don't have a lot of details or a lot of information, but I know the FAA and the NTSB are investigating, and we've been in contact with Rick Hendrick, and we're in contact with his entire organization.
I remember being confused. Really hadn't been a fan of a team that had a tragic event like that happen. There was Dale Earnhardt Sr. in 2001, but this was my team. These were the people that I watched race, and Ricky was an up-and-coming racer in the Truck Series, and it just made you feel a different kind of way.
I was scared speechless. I couldn't move for several minutes. I couldn't believe what had happened, but it took a while to register. I just felt so bad for Rick. I cried for a little bit. I was glued to the TV for the rest of the night. And then they showed the names of the people on board.
Hundreds gathered Wednesday night at the home of one of racing's premier teams, where they should be celebrating NASCAR's success. By candlelight, they mourned a tremendous loss. 4 who bear the Hendrick name, 6 more who helped the team win.
We need to keep each of our friends and families in our hearts, in prayers, and celebrate their lives. The lives of Randy Dorton, John Hendrick, Jennifer Hendrick, Kimberly Hendrick, Ricky Hendrick, Joe Jackson, Scott Latham, Elizabeth Morrison, Richard Tracy, and Jeff Turner.
I remember being at the homecoming pep rally, and I had created a hat that had all the people on the plane's name in memorial of them. And I was just so happened to be walking around, and all of a sudden, here comes this guy up to me. I'd only lived here for about a year, and not met anybody who liked NASCAR. And all of a sudden, he's like, "Hey, man, I like your hat." And I mean, that's pretty much how it started. And then the next weekend, we hung out to watch the race.
Yeah, he was the first person I'd ever seen with Gordon gear on at school. I had to go say hi to him, especially after what had happened.
I remember we actually went go-karting right after we met, and we were practicing drafting. And little did I know that John used to play NASCAR online, and he showed me how it worked, and we ended up being drafted partners for life.
Yeah, we were working on our drafting there. We're teammates for life. I didn't think I'd get into it. After all, I wasn't really an online gamer to begin with. I never really got into the fact of talking to strangers online. But some of the races, man, they were some good ones for sure. I mean, totally worth the waste of time.
Yeah, so I mean, it's unfortunate that something like this led to us meeting up, but it started a conversation.
I mean, it's true, and I didn't actually expect that to happen. I was getting in trouble for having that hat on in school. I finally told the principal, I was like, look, this is a memorial for somebody, for something that was special to me. And they were like, okay, they kind of backed off. But, it's 14 years later. It feels like it was yesterday. Like I can remember it happening, and, we were hoping that it was going to carry Johnson or Gordon into the championship. But they were close.
Yeah,
Homestead was a battle.
It's just interesting, and it's as unfortunate as it was, it's just interesting how things like that work out sometimes.
Welcome to Stage 3, guys. It's time to go over the point standings and championship picks. And we will take a look at the current point standings. You'll see Joey Logano, because of the win today, has locked in to Homestead. Kyle Busch is second with 46 points above the cutoff line. Martin Truex, 25 points above the cutoff line. He really wanted to lock in, though.
Yeah, and if Logano hadn't won, it would look different.
And Kevin Harvick, because Kevin Harvick is also 25 points above the cutoff line. Him and Truex are tied for third place. But that doesn't mean we add another guy to the mix. Just outside the cutoff line, Kurt Busch, 25 points back. Chase Elliott, 31 points back. Clint Bowyer, 42 points back. Eric Almirola, 50 points back. Those guys
That's a
are
lot of
falling
ground.
behind. Yep. I mean, Chase Elliott, 31
He was
points.
+3 before going into the race.
Chase Elliott is, well, Texas and ISM coming up. But Martin Truex and Kevin Harvick do well at those tracks. They both kind of would like to win.
Yep.
The big three's still in there. Still in Homestead as of right now.
It's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of work to get it up there.
For some reason, I feel like we're going to have a different winner next week at Texas, because
I do too.
It's just, I just feel like that's the way it's going to be.
I feel like Texas might be that non-championship driver win.
Man, we were talking about that
Hamlin
last week.
is really good there. Hamlin's gotten those guns before.
Jimmy Johnson has a history there too, but he just hasn't had the speed.
So is
this
Brad.
year. He just hasn't had the speed.
Yep.
All right, championship picks. Previously on championship picks, we know that Blaney and Keselowski have been eliminated. Tim's championship picks, he has the 4, the 9, and the 78 left. I have the 9, the 18, and the 78. So Tim has Chase Elliott winning the championship. He's just on the outside, 31 points out looking in. I have Kyle Busch, who is still in.
I'm really nervous about my picks now. I'm really nervous. Because if my guy doesn't get in to the championship round, then I will have been eliminated.
Will have been eliminated.
Final lap. We are heading to the great state of Texas, where everything is bigger.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Who do you got winning Texas?
I've got number 4, Kevin Harvick, winning Texas. I just feel like he's been the playoffs. He hasn't won a race in the playoffs yet, has he?
He has not. No.
Yeah,
he's been cushioned by all of his playoff points.
Harvick has had the dominant cars for most of the season. They've had the most speed
for most of the playoffs.
And I did a little bit of homework. I watched the Dale Jr. download, and Jr. He was mentioning how much speed that 4 cars had at all the tracks this year, and then just because of pit road penalties or
he should have won Talladega. Him or Kurt Busch.
Yeah, just little mistakes. You can't have mistakes.
Yep.
Those little mistakes just tear
Cost
you
the
up.
championship. Yep.
I got the 4 at Texas.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with the 2 of Brad Keselowski.
Oh, man.
He always, he just has that speed sometimes there, and I think his team's looking for that momentum to carry them the next season, and I think Texas is his track.
All right, that's all the time we have for this episode of 8 to Go. We would like to thank everyone that's been following our Facebook page. We just passed 100 likes today.
100, baby. And don't forget to check us out on Spotify, and our Twitter is finally out. And make sure you subscribe to our new YouTube channel at 8 to Go. That's where we're going to post all of our episodes and our previous episodes, so that way you can go to one place, find it all, and share it with your friends.
We will list all of these ways to keep up with us in the credits following this episode. And also, if you're watching us on YouTube, we'll list all of the links to our social media in the description.
We want to thank you guys for watching again, and we will see you next week after Texas.